Okay, Formula One breaking news. Whoa, Christian Horner gone. Was it a surprise? Was it not a surprise? Christian Horner didn't just get fired. He got removed. That's a difference. I smell a rat. I smell a big rat because on the outside it looks like a shock, right? And it is to me to a degree. But then when I start thinking, but for everyone who's watched closely, for those who are not sipping champagne in the paddock, but watching from the shadows, and all my racing experience and all the knowing of the politics that goes on behind, it's ugly, it's disgusting. And this doesn't feel like a scandal. This feels like a hit job, okay? And I'm not the biggest fan of this guy ever. Like, if you've seen my videos before, I would always praise him, and I think he's a great team boss. But I've never been a huge fan of the guy. And I'll tell you where my eyes go. Straight to Jos Verstappen. Not just Max. Max is the golden boy. Well, he was. Let's get back to that. The PR-friendly prodigy. But the strings, I think Jos is pulling them. And this time, he might have pulled the whole team down around it. And let's go deep, because the surface headlines are BS. What we're talking about here is sabotage, leverage, legacy, and politics in the blood-soaked jungle of Formula One.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter. Walsh. Now, okay, let's get the obvious out of the way. 2024, last year, Horner, he was under fire for inappropriate behavior. What does that even mean? We have no idea. We still don't know. Allegations, right? Whispers in the paddock, media silence. Nobody knew who this woman was or what exactly happened. And we still don't. You know, he could be guilty. He could be innocent. But we don't know. No press statements, no interviews, just rumors. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Usually when someone's guilty, they go quiet. Right? And they try to stay invisible, smile at the right times, say the right things, okay, in case somebody catches on to what they're doing in the background. If you think about it, you don't want to get caught, so you got to put on a nice face. What you want everybody thinking is, oh, John will be the last guy in the world you'd ever think he'd do some inappropriate behavior because he's such a nice guy, right? This is the kind of the game people are playing. Now, okay, but Horner, he can be an a-hole. He's an a-hole right in front of you. That's the nice thing about, where you stand with this guy. Even if he's coming up with a knife behind your back, he'll show you the knife and then knife you. But at least you know it's coming. Okay? He's that type of guy. Now, Horner, he was defiant, public, loud, arrogant maybe. You can argue me on that one. He looked like a man with nothing to hide and no interest in pretending otherwise. Now, do I know what happened? Of course not. But do I know this? Guilty men don't behave like Christian Horner did. Okay? They don't go chest out in a media storm unless they know something we don't. So what happened? The answer's simple. A power shift was coming. That's what I think. And Horner was in the way. Now, okay. Hear me out. Let's look at Red Bull's history. Let's look at this really properly. Now, they fall in love with young prodigies. Sebastian Vettel. All right? He was their first. The teenage sensation, 4-time champion. Then what? Gone. Like a fart in the wind. Max Verstappen, teenage sensation, 4-time world champion, exact same. But now, you can feel it, they're getting a little itchy again here, right? He's not the young prodigy anymore. He's still a really young guy, but he's not the 17-year-old superstar, okay? I mean, it's all bollocks, but still, it looks good for sponsors. It's almost as if Red Bull exists to build stars, not keep them. They love the optics of, we discovered this prodigy, right? But when the kid becomes a man, becomes expensive, becomes difficult, then they start looking around. And guess who else knows this game? Jos effing Verstappen. Now, he knows this industry. He knows how Red Bull operates. He knows when a driver's window is closing. And what does he do? He moves preemptively because Jos is the father. He's a chess player. And if there's one rule he lives by is this: before they take out my son, I take out the one in charge. Now, if you've seen any of my videos in the last couple of years, I have been literally saying exactly what I'm saying here. I have literally said that Red Bull love the superstars, the young ones, right? This is no coincidence that Sebastian Vettel was the young guy, comes in 4 times champion. Then all of a sudden, the new younger guy comes in, Max Verstappen. He comes into Formula 1, crashing. His confidence wasn't up. Okay, fair enough. He was under huge pressure. He was a 17-year-old kid, 16, whatever, right? And then, but all of a sudden, he was the chosen one. Give me a break, right? Then he becomes 4-time world champion. And all of a sudden, things are starting to fall out of whack here. Now, Adrian Newey leaves, the greatest car designer in F1 history. What? Quiet, calculated, no drama, just performance. And a man who brought him into Red Bull, Christian Horner. Watch old footage race weekends, garage footage, press walks. Horner and Newey were always together. They were a unit. But when the scandal dropped, when the Verstappen camp started circling, Newey saw the writing on the wall, man. Newey doesn't do mess. He doesn't mess around. He doesn't do politics. He builds cars and wins races. When he saw the internal war breaking out, this guy went to hell with this. This ain't going anywhere. And he was thinking long term. He was thinking winning races, winning championships. He knew that this toxic environment was going to come all crashing down. Then the other guy, Wheatley, leaves. All right, well, okay, grand, whatever. But another one of Horner's guys, gone. And this isn't a coincidence anymore. It's a purge. Let's be clear. Horner was not just a figurehead. He was the heartbeat, the backbone, the operator of Red Bull, the one who knew how to play politics and still win. And that's exactly why he was dangerous. Because if you're Jos Verstappen, if you see the team maybe shifting his way towards maybe another young driver, if you think maybe they might do what Max did to Vettel, you need leverage. You need a distraction. You need someone else to take the fall first. And Horner was the perfect fall guy. Now, you're probably thinking, why would Red Bull listen to Verstappen, right? I mean, seriously, right? And I'd understand you might be screaming at me and going, Peter, what? But easy, because Max Verstappen, he's worth a lot of money. In sponsorship, in merchandise, race wins. Max leaves, Red Bull loses its biggest asset for now. And Jos knows it, okay? He knows that for now. So if Jos says it's him or us, you think they're siding with Horner? I don't think so. They're going to throw Christian to the wolves and praise Max stays. Now, this is all short-term too, lads, okay? I think Red Bull are still going to be looking for that younger next guy, the young blood, right? But this is a nice distraction along the way to keep things messed up, because at the same time, what Jos Verstappen knows is his boy is still the current world champion. 2 race wins under their belt so far. We're just over the halfway mark. He had a pole position in Silverstone, right? So they're cracking, but they're not out of the limelight either here, right? So it's a nice distraction to get rid of him. And what it does, psychology, and believe me, I've studied a lot of psychology. What this does too, if they get rid of Christian Horner, they want to believe they've got rid of the problem. Okay, it's an illusion, right? This might not fix anything. In fact, this might make things everything worse. But they're scratching, they're itching, they're wondering what's going on. Okay, there's problems in the camp, and they're dying. Think about it. You've just spent the last 4 years dominating, like seriously dominating. Now all of a sudden it's all falling to pieces. There's panic, there's trembling, there's, oh dear Lord, what are we going to do? Okay, they're scrambling for parachutes. There's not enough to go around. Okay, and this is what's happening. They need the fall guy. But yeah, that's perfect now. We've got rid of Christian Horner. He was the problem. He was the mess. We're all fine now again. Maybe, or maybe not. Now, what's next? Horner, could he go to Mercedes? No, not a hope. Toto Wolff is a shareholder in that company. He ain't going anywhere. Horner, take a year off maybe? I don't think he'll stay quiet for long. Max may win another title. This is a long shot at this stage. Piastri and Norris, they've got their feet clamped into this, man, and I think they're singing, man. And Red Bull, they may regret who they choose to protect when the storm hits, but because, Christian Horner wasn't just a team principal. He was the spine of the garage, and they've just ripped out the spine and expect the body to keep walking. Let me end on this. You might not have liked Horner. Maybe you thought he was arrogant, cocky, smug, a-hole, whatever you want to call it. But he built an empire here. He kept chaos in line. And now that he's gone, get ready, because the chaos just clocked in.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.